The Lion, the Bear, and the Fox. The Lion, the Bear, and the Fox is one of Aesop's fables that is numbered 147 in the Perry Index. There are similar story types of both Eastern and Western origin in which two disputants lose the object of their dispute to a third. There are ancient Greek versions of the fable, and it was included in the Medici manuscript collection of Aesop's fables dating from the 1470s. However, its earliest appearance in another language is as number 60 in the collection of 150 fables in Latin verse by the Austrian poet Pantaleon Candidus. Here, a lion and a bear simultaneously attack a fawn and fight over it until they collapse from fatigue. Then a fox that has been watching them snatches their prey and makes off with it. The moral Pantaleon draws at the end is Sipi alter alterius fruiter labribus. The story seems to have entered printed collections of Aesop's fables from this source. In his 1692 retelling, Sir Roger L'Estrange anglicizes the conclusion as "'Tis the fate of all Gotham quarrels, when fools go together by the ears, to have knaves run away with the stakes." Earlier European versions of this type of story feature two other animals fighting over a find or their prey, only to have a third come and steal it. One of the earliest in English is referred to briefly in Geoffrey Chaucer's The Knight's Tale. The situation was proverbial and expressed alternatively in English as "while two dogs are fighting for a bone, a third runs away with it." Its Dutch equivalent, "als twee honden vechten om een bin, looked de dirty om me heen," was among those illustrated in Peter Bruegel the Elder's Netherlandish proverbs. La Fontaine's fables transformed the story into Les Voleurs et l'Âne. There two thieves fight over the question of whether to keep or sell a stolen donkey, only to have another thief ride it off while they are doing so. La Fontaine draws a political moral, likening the dispute to a contemporary war between Hungary and Turkey over the province of Transylvania. In the Walloon dialect imitation made by François Baylor in 1851, Les Voleurs et l'Âne, that author likens the dispute between the thieves to two lovers fighting over a girl while a third has his way with her. Ambrose Bierce also reinterpreted the story in the Old Saws with New Teeth section of his Fantastic Fables. Bierce takes the hint for the conduct of his honest man from Samuel Croxall's Fables of Aesop and others, translated into English with instructive applications. The application for the fable of the lion, the bear, and the fox reflects on the foolishness of applying to lawyers in disputes over property. When people go to law about an uncertain title, and have spent their whole estates in the contest, nothing is more common than for some little pettifogging attorney to step in, and secure it to himself. Thomas Bewick indicates the same moral in his illustrated Select Fables of Aesop. There the preface to Fable 20, titled The Lion, the Tiger, and the Fox, warns that the intemperate rage of clients gives the lawyer an opportunity of seizing the property in dispute. Just as the story of the dogs who lost everything while fighting over a bone became proverbial in England, the Indian proverbial equivalent is expressed as monkey's justice. The story there is of two cats who fight over a piece of bread, or butter, or cheese, and go before a monkey to adjudicate their shares. He cuts it into two unequal halves and has to nibble first one then the other to get them equal until the cats beg him to stop, claiming it as his fee. The monkey gobbles the remainder and leaves them nothing. The fable involves the same distrust of lawyers as in the West, and it is this parallel that is underlined when the story began to appear in European sources. One of the earliest examples appears in Antoine Houdard de la Motte's Nouvelles Fables, an English translation of which followed in 1721. Soon after, Alan Ramsay used it as the basis for his poem in Scots dialect, The Twa Cats and the Cheese. The same story reappears in Alfred de Saint Quentin's poem in Guyanese Creole, De Chetke Makak, and also makes an early English appearance in Jefferies Taylor's Aesop in Rhyme. A much earlier Indian variation on the story appears in the Buddhist scriptures as the Dabhapa Fajataka. Here a jackal offers to arbitrate between two otters who are quarreling over the division of a fish they have cooperated in bringing to land. The jackal awards them the head and tail and runs off with the bulk of their catch. The moral drawn is a political one. The story has obvious affinities with the fable of the lion's share and the similar political moral drawn from it by some commentators. It has been applied particularly to the troubles of India under the English colonial regime and later by Gandhi to the troubles arising from the partition of India in 1947. The fable of the lion, the bear, and the fox figured as one of a series in the Copeland and Garrett period of late Spode pottery between 1830 to 79. The designs for these were taken from the illustrations in the 1793 edition of the Reverend Samuel Croxall's Fables of Aesop. Honore Daumier made an oil painting of La Fontaine's fable which is on display in the Musée d'Orsay. It is based on a lithograph of street fighters which appeared in Le Chivery on August 23, 1845, the preliminary drawing for which is also in the same museum. The painter emphasizes the fight between the thieves in the foreground, standing out against the overall dark coloring, while in the background, hidden in the shadows, the flight of the third thief on the ass is roughly sketched in. Among other 19th-century French artists who have treated the subject are François Chifflard and Paul Cézanne. The former features two thieves fighting in the lower foreground of a wide landscape, with the third galloping towards a path up the distant cliffs. Cézanne's later painting has a group of four thieves struggling in one corner of a dynamic seaside landscape over which loom cliffs and pines. The ass is peaceably wandering downhill towards two seated characters, one of whom is smoking. The French fable has also been set for choir performance by Georges Moineau.